What's up, y'all? Okay, I'm coming to y'all at the end of my work day to do the Bondy Blue show. Yes, I am back. Okay, you guys know that I've been ailing lately. Okay, so that's why y'all didn't get a video. Plus, it wasn't a lot of topics, but this week we're full of topics. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Rkelly, bitch. Okay, we know that you have been calling yourself the Pied Piper of R&B for years, okay? And we know that the story of the Pied Piper is a guy who basically blows a little flute and all the little kids come from the neighboring town and leave with him and never to be seen again, okay? We know that's what the story is, but we were all hoping that you weren't really doing this shit, okay? See, some people are calling it a cult. I'm not okay with that wording. I don't like that wording, cult. No, fuck that. They're grown-ass women, okay, that are living and being taken care of by Rkelly. I feel that Hugh Hefner is a similar person, has compounds full of women in which he pays to look how he wants them to look, dress how he wants them to dress, and probably fuck his old ass, okay? So here we are with Rkelly having a similar situation popping and we want to put cult on it. Really? That's the first word that came to your mind? Fuck out of here, okay? And here's another thing. This is the thing that aggravated me about this situation. The parents, with both of the girls that I've heard stories about, both of the parents introduced their daughters to Rkelly after he'd been put on trial for peeing on a 15-year-old girl. So my question to the parents who are so worried about their kids, so worried about their daughters, what the fuck were you thinking about when you initially introduced him to them in the first fucking place? What were you thinking about? Okay, now at first I didn't know how I really felt about the situation because it's such a crazy story, right? But then one of the girls did a video and she would not answer where she was or if she was in a place with other young girls. She would not answer those questions. And so I felt like, oh yeah, bitch, you being controlled. Something ain't right in the Kool-Aid, okay? Something is definitely not right. Whatever he's doing is really probably fucked up. And that's what it is, okay? No, I will not continue to support Rkelly or his tours or his music, but I'm still gonna listen to it on Tidal because some shit is just embedded in my spirit. And his first few albums, you know, well, honestly, like all of his albums, kind of tend to be the shit. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm not about to do is stop appreciating art because the artists are fucked up. Just not gonna do that. That's just not how I roll, okay? I still like the fucking Cosby Show. Bill did it. I still like the Cosby Show, okay? You gotta do some like real, like, I don't know, like, nah, I still tend to be able to separate from the art if I really like the art. It is what it is for me. But yeah, Rkelly's fucked up. The parents are fucked up. Those girls are obviously fucked up. And this is a fucked up story. So we're gonna move along. Kevin Hart, my little bumpkins, okay? If y'all don't know, I love fucking Kevin Hart, okay? It is what it is. And I read his book recently, so I kind of know a little information on Kevin Hart and how he, you know, has gotten through life and relationships. And this past week, he was in a car drunk. It's the week of his birthday, I believe. And he was in the car and there's a girl in the back seat and he's turned around talking to the girl. As a person who takes video and pictures all the time, I can tell you that there's no way from that distance that you would have been able to tell if he was actually making out with somebody, okay? Just because their heads are turned like this or his head is turned like this, like people were actually saying they were making out. And I looked at the video and at the pictures and I was like, what the fuck are y'all looking at? I don't see nobody's mouth connecting with nobody else's mouth. I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about. If you looked at the video, the woman's head did not move. It was almost like she was just sitting against the back of the seat and she stayed that way. He was the one that was moving all around, partially because his little ass was excited. He probably was being a tad bit flirtatious, but he's Kevin Hart. So I feel like he's always in Kevin Hart mode, especially if he's loosey-goosey and drunk, okay? And even though I said I did not believe this story, people continue to come out with stories, and it's been put out that it wasn't true. But, you know, I think by the girl who they said it was, she said that that's not what was going on. But people have continued to post stories like, oh, Kevin Hart's side chick and he cheated on the wife that he cheated on his first wife with. And it's like, first of all, Aniko was not a cheatation, okay? She was not a cheatation, okay? She got with him even though he was still married to his ex-wife. At the time, they were not together, okay? And for some people, that might be considered cheating. For me, if we're not living together and we're not together and I'm dating somebody else and we're in the process of getting a divorce, it's not cheating. To me, it's not. So I feel like everybody need to back the fuck up off Kevin Hart and stop trying to sully his name and fuck up his brand because some bitch was sitting in the back seat and his drunk ass was talking to her. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Y'all not, especially since his wife is 6 months pregnant. Like, to me, that's some fucked up shit to put that story out like that. Without actually having evidence that it was true. The video and the pictures, not enough evidence for me because, like I said, you can't tell shit from that video. Moving along, okay, clocking you hoes one after another. Tyga in his braids was on the Breakfast Club this past week, okay? And I got a few things out of this interview. For one, I feel like people watch Breakfast Club interviews just so that they can come on there in the comments and hate on Charlamagne. Like, you're either mad at him because he didn't ask the hard questions, or you're mad because he did ask the hard questions. I'm just very confused. I feel like it's a whole bunch of hate for no fucking reason. Okay, Charlamagne the God is a part of the Breakfast Club. If you're clicking on a fucking video, you know he's gonna be there. So why do y'all trolls continue to click on videos and then talk to each other about how much y'all can't stand him and how thirsty he is and how he kept asking questions? He kept asking Tyga the question about Kylie and her age because he was not really answering the question. And if you know anything about real journalism, if somebody wants to keep giving you the party line, then you continue to ask the question in a different way, okay? And that's all Charlamagne did. I felt like he did his job. He's supposed to ask the questions we want to know. When did you meet Kylie? Oh, at her sister's 15-year-old birthday party. How old was she at the time? It was Kendall's sweet 16. Kylie was like 15 years old. I think he was saying 15, but he met 14. But that's when he met her. He said that he was still messing with China for years after that. It wasn't until years later. He didn't start fucking with her until she was 18. That's what he said. We all know that's a lie. We all know that's a lie because we thought that they were fucking around before they actually put it out that they were fucking around. Okay? Like, and most of the time, we are the last ones to find out, okay? It's been going on for a minute. We never catch the shit straight off the gate on the first date. Nobody catches that shit, okay? Which makes me feel like them bitches always calling people, okay? And he even says that being in a relationship with a Kardashian woman is hard because it's a family of women that are for women, and it's just hard for any man to be in that space. But also, it's because people don't want to see those young white girls with black men. So they post negative stories and fake stories about Tyga getting cars repossessed and all of that type of shit, trying to make him look bad because they don't want them together. And I just kind of feel like, well, that's what they do. That's why, like, we be looking at you like, nah, nigga, when you get with them, because we know exactly what's going to happen and how it turns out. And it seems like some of y'all niggas are just gluttons for fucking punishment. Y'all gonna get embarrassed. People gonna make y'all look like shit, whether it's their family or the people that's mad because you with their family, whatever the situation may be. I just don't fuck with them. I don't fuck with them, okay? I just don't. I don't fuck with Caitlyn Jenner. I don't fuck with Kris Jenner. I don't fuck with none of the Kardashians. They just not my cup of tea, okay? I don't like to celebrate people who become famous and rich for mediocrity. Like, no matter what anybody says about the businesses they've made since they started, lying on their fucking backs, okay? And I'm specifically talking about Kim because Kourtney really just been fucking with that same dude this whole time. Okay, Kourtney's the only one that probably still got her original body and face, you know, except for a little boop, boop, boop or something like that. She was the one that I liked initially, but then they just pushed Kim out as the breakout star because she fucked Ray J, and now she's more famous than him. And I'm just like, looking at the situation like, ain't that about a bitch? Okay, like, I'm just saying, just to me, further examples of people getting big and making it off of black people or appropriating our culture and not really being for our culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of shit annoys me. He said that he was definitely not with her putting those t-shirts out. You know, you remember when they put their faces and bodies over the t-shirts of the Doors and Biggie and them? He said he would definitely have told her not to do that shit. And I'm like, anybody with good sense should have told her not to do that shit. His interview was interesting, and part of the reason it was interesting because he kept saying he's always so ahead of the curve, and it's like, but somebody that's so ahead of the curve, you sure in the fuck got left in the dust, my nigga. Okay, of course, you know, Cash Money and them still owe him money, all of that shit, you know, all of that other shit that I really don't care about. Everybody seems to be impressed when I was reading the comments, but I wasn't. I was not impressed. I still feel the same way I felt about him before, that he was kind of grimy. And anybody that feels like they're ahead of the curve on dating an underage girl because they knew how it could somehow be a good opportunity for them, yeah, no, I'm not here for that shit. Okay, I'm just not here for that shit in any capacity at all. And that just is what it is. So no, I don't like Tyga anymore from watching that fucking interview. It just was some shit I didn't know. And I'm a nosy person, so thank you for the information. Usher. Okay, y'all, the internet has been having me in fucking stitches laughing at all of these different ways we are putting it out there about Usher just paying this young lady a $1.1 million settlement for giving her herpes. Apparently, he's a carrier of herpes. I don't know what the difference is between actually having it when green shit is coming out of your dick, but apparently she was a bridesmaid, one of Sumiko Foster's bridesmaids, a part of the reason why they got a divorce in the first place. He slept with her, had a relationship with her. He said that somehow he convinced her that his test results were negative and that he didn't have anything, so she continued to have unprotected sex with him. And I'm just like, yeah, Usher's been a slut since he was a teenager, from hanging around. I forgot who it was that he was supposedly that had got with him at first. I don't know whether it was Rkelly or whoever it was, but somebody had got with him when he was really young before we knew him as Usher, and he was hanging around them and partying a lot and fucking a lot at a very young age. So does it surprise me that he has a sexually transmitted disease? No, I don't know why it surprises anybody. It surprises me that he hasn't paid to get rid of it yet. That's what surprises me. It also surprises me that a bitch can actually sue you for $1 million for you giving it to her. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to always have herpes, and that's terrible, bitch. But shouldn't this partially be your responsibility for not having a condom yourself to protect yourself against this man who you know is a slut because you're fucking your friend's husband? Obviously, he has some issues, okay? I don't feel like she should have got paid for that, bitch. This is partially your fault too. And it just Sumiko Foster just keeps getting better and better, and everybody's like, after her son passed away, I think everybody kind of had to let off of her, because a lot of people did not like her when she got with Usher because she was an older woman and she was his stylist and all of this type of shit. But I mean, the relationship showed itself to not be a good thing, and that was mainly because of him, not because of her. And I think people were not as warm as they should have been to her. They were way more forgiving of Usher. And I think this is a moment where she gets to sit back and smile to herself about how things come full circle. Apparently, Jada Pinkett met Tupac back in the day when she was a drug dealer. I mean, that does not surprise me. What surprises me is that, you know, her and Will apparently don't swing. She said that was the craziest thing she'd ever heard about her and Will, was that they were swingers. They are not swingers, she wished. But then we keep seeing you around with August Alsina like he your son age or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot that goes on, Jada. And I don't know if I believe it, okay? I don't know if I believe you. I'm happy to see that you back out here because we missed you. I wish you would have your original face. I love you, girl. Like, I love you. I want you to know that. But every time I see the filler in your cheeks, it just bothers me. It bothers me so much. Oh my God. I'm definitely gonna see Girls Trip, and I might review it. You guys let me know if y'all want to see a review of Girls Trip, because I'll definitely do it when I go see it. But I love me some Jada, and I can't wait for her to put out this book, and I'm definitely interested in knowing how her little young self was a drug dealer, and she said something happened to her that made her really get out of it. And I'm thinking that somebody probably took advantage of her size. That's one of the only things. You gotta stay with a gun in your hand if you're gonna be a little bitch selling drugs, because niggas will always try to overpower you on some shit. So I feel like that's gonna be an interesting story whenever she puts that book out. Columbus Short was on Wendy Williams, you guys. Columbus Short, if you don't know who he is, you should. He was on Scandal for the first 2 or 3 seasons, I can't remember. He was on Stump the Yard. He was also on Cadillac Records. Okay, I ain't your fucking son. Okay, one of the only people that I've ever heard to even closely resemble our accent where they act like they from here. So yeah, I have an affinity for Columbus Short. And he went on Wendy Williams to talk about his tumultuous divorce from his ex-wife, who put out a video of him abusing another girl, an ex-girlfriend of his, put out there about how he was using drugs. They talked about all of that. He is going to be in a movie based on a book. True to the Game. True to the Game, old urban fiction novel. I feel like I've read that book. I can't remember, but back in the day, like when I first started reading, I really feel like I read True to the Game. If I read it, I would probably start to remember what happened. But either way, he's going to be playing the main character in this book along with Vivica Fox. They were both on the Wendy Williams show, and this is supposed to be his comeback. And the only thing I was mad about with the Wendy Williams interview is that they didn't talk about Corinne Steffens. They didn't talk about his tumultuous relationship with Corinne Steffens and how that was all over social media. That, you know, she's always claiming that she's fucking married to somebody when she's not married to them. It was obvious that he probably was still on drugs. She was putting it out there. I'm sure she's about to write a book as soon as she gets at least 1 or 2 more men in the repertoire for this next book. Because that bitch need more than 1 man for each book, okay? If you've ever read any of her books, you know how she works. I feel like most of her life experiences she goes through so that she can write about them, which in some way sullies the authenticity of them. But she's very calculated and smart, and I feel like she sees opportunities and takes advantage. And that's just another conversation for another time. But I was mad that they didn't touch on that because I felt like that spoke volumes about where he was in his head for him to end up in a relationship with her sucking his ass. Okay, I'm just telling you what it is. I've read her books, and from what I've read about her, she's a very self-centered, selfish person, even though she thinks she isn't. She will give, but she will give only to say, look what I've given you. Like, she's that type of person. But her books are hella entertaining, so I always be supporting that crazy bitch. But anyway, I'm happy that Columbus Short is coming back. I miss him on television. I was very hurt when he left Scandal. I almost detached from Scandal in a way when he left the show. I know he needed to get his life together. I would definitely be going to support the movie because I want to see him prosper, because I do feel like he's a real talent. You know, like, I really love me some Columbus Short. So I'm really like, you know, fist in the air for him getting his shit together, and also for this movie to be good. So I'm looking forward to it. Michael Vick versus Colin Kaepernick, y'all. This made me so mad when I saw it, because y'all, sometimes I'll be on Instagram at the very time that shit starts to happen. And this is one of them times, okay? I saw people posting about this video that Michael Vick did, saying that he felt like Colin Kaepernick needed to clean up his hair and you know, clean up his image. And we all looking at Michael Vick like, nah, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Didn't they just arrest you for fighting dogs and put you in jail all that time and basically almost ruin your motherfucking career? You had to come back scratching and surviving good times to get where you are today, for us to even give a fuck about what you talking about, for you to turn around for the black fist of the fucking decade, Colin Kaepernick with his afro, and tell him that he needs to concede to how white people want him to look? Did you really say that? Like, that's how we felt. Colin Kaepernick put up a post of what the definition of Stockholm Syndrome is, okay? And I'm gonna let you look it up for yourself if you don't know what that is, okay? Because I ain't got time. But at the end of the day, that's how we all felt, okay? But then he come out and apologize about his comments, saying that he didn't mean to offend anybody, and he definitely wants to support Colin Kaepernick because he realized how bad it made him look. And it just was disappointing. It was disappointing. To me, it's always disappointing when I see these men in the NFL and the NBA not standing up and supporting Colin Kaepernick or supporting the movement, because there is no NFL or NBA without all of the black men that are involved in it, okay? There are other races, don't get me wrong. There are way more white coaches than black coaches, okay? But there are way more black players than white players. And if all of them felt some type of way and stood up, I feel like it will force their organization to support the same thing. Because, you know, you can't sell tickets when niggas ain't coming to the games to play. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of them don't know their worth as a whole. They don't know their worth as an entirety. I almost feel like the NFL and the NBA is low-key a form of slavery, because y'all feel like football players and basketball players get so much money, but it's absolutely nothing in comparison to the money that is being made off of them, and how over the years you will see these big stars, you know, either have ailing health or they'll lose their money from bad investments, and we all look at them like it's their fault, when in honesty a lot of these young men didn't have the opportunity or the education to make better decisions with their money, but they're forced into the limelight and they're forced into these pressure positions, and they have to take on so much as a person, their families and all of this shit, and y'all expect them to come out on top of that situation, and y'all don't really give them the utmost support. They just now in the NFL started to do things to where they can help and aid the players with the concussions and head injuries and neck injuries that they've all gotten over the years that have obviously caused people like OJ Simpson, okay? Like, y'all can say what y'all want to about OJ, because yes, y'all, OJ did get his parole this week. I don't know why they felt the need to put that hearing on television. It was all everybody was watching at work. I could personally give a fuck, okay? It wasn't a murder trial. I don't give a fuck about whether you get out of jail or not, Mr. I'm Not Black, with your obviously black looking ass. Anyway, I don't care about all that. But what I do notice every time I see OJ Simpson talk is that he's not all there. And he has not been all there for years, decades maybe. And I partially blame football. So even though I'm not black, I'm OJ, you don't know how being a black man playing football might have caused you to have some shit that's not connecting up here anymore, which is why you are constantly ended up being in fucking jail even though you got away with murder. Okay? He done been in jail a couple of times since he got away with that fucking murder. Okay? I'm just saying. Because I think he did it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I think he did it. I think he hauled off, flipped the fuck out, and killed that girl. You act like in that dude because he thought they might have been fucking or sleeping together, or it didn't look right. And he is the type of person that go from happy to fucking crazy mad in a second. I'm sorry, but that's the feel I get. Okay, just telling y'all how I feel. So, like, when I say all of that to say that it pissed me off how Michael Vick even made that comment, because you need to show support for Colin. All of y'all need to. All of y'all need to show support for that man. And that's just how I fucking feel about it, okay? Yeah, black fist of the decade out this bitch. It's time for my motherfucking advice. It's time for my motherfucking advice. Okay, that's what it's time for. And I got a good one for you today, goddammit. So I'm not even gonna read it to y'all. I'm gonna just tell y'all what happened, okay? Because I emailed the lady. I'm assuming it's a woman. Yes, okay. I emailed the lady and asked her a few more in-depth questions, but she didn't get back to me, and I didn't give her enough time. But I want to get the letter out anyway because I felt that it was very interesting. Okay, and here's basically what's going on in her life. She's married, and she and her husband have children. They've been together for a long time. She says they have a very loving family, but her husband has been transitioning into an androgynous male. And he's gotten sew-ins and even went out in full drag with heels and makeup and everything to the gay clubs, and they have a good time together, and she's very supportive. But she is starting to feel that she does not know if she's being supportive enough or how she can relate to him without being rude, that he's starting to become dependent and needy upon her approval or what she feels he should, you know, dress and look like. And I have so many questions. And the questions that I asked her for one, where does she see her relationship, her family? What does this look like to her in 10 years? That's one of the questions. Another thing is she sure that they both want to still be in their marriage? Okay, is my other question. And number three was and number three was, are you on hormones? Is he on hormones? Because a lot of that could have to do with the dependent neediness, okay? That's why I asked that question. But here's my thing. And it's not that I feel like just because you want to dress and drag, you have to be gay, because I know there are men that cross-dress and are still heterosexual. But here's my thing. Along with the exploration of what is entailed in discovering or really becoming who you feel you are is the need to try shit. Okay? And I'm wondering if that is good for a marriage, if that is good for a family, if that's the type of support you should be giving him, if that's even the type of support you want to give. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to support you as a person and be your friend because I understand and I love you. But at the same time, it's a totally different thing to be supportive as a wife when there is uncertainty in your position as the wife. Because I feel like you need to assess whether his change in gender or change, in sexual, in sexuality, whatever you want to call it, if that change is going to affect how y'all view each other in y'all relationship. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a huge change to make to a dynamic that is already set. And that's why I ask those questions, because even though he might still be heterosexual and want to be with her physically and all of that, still with this identity change, it's going to cause problems because, like she said, he's needy and she's used to him being very sure of himself, even in the process of figuring out that I may want to be or portray more of a female gender or more of of a feel of a woman, the weaves and makeup and all of that and the drag. That's one thing, but to actually want to become a woman, and change your physicalities, like, that's a huge fucking thing. And I wonder if the gravity of the situation has really sunk in with you, because you say you're supportive, and I agree that you're being supportive. I'm just not sure if the support you're giving is the support you should be giving. You see what I'm saying? But I do feel like there's no rude way to tell your husband that you need to woman or man the fuck up, however you want to look at it. But you need to decide what your position in this relationship and in this family is. Because I can deal with the person that feels like they maybe want to dress like a woman. I can deal with that. But what you seem to not be able to deal with is if that changes the dynamic of y'all's relationship and now you're the giving person all the time, but you're not getting that same support that you originally got or that you thought you would have in this relationship. You see what I'm saying? I hope I'm coming across clear. But I feel like I can't even really give you advice because there's so many things I don't know. Because if he's on hormones, that could be a part of it, okay? And, I'm just wondering if you really want all of that. If you want a sex change, like if you want to deal with that, if that's what you want in your relationship. And if that is what you want in your relationship, I'm going to say continue to be supportive, but still demand what you need from the relationship because it's not one-sided. That's my advice that I give you no matter what. To definitely say how you feel, to say, I love you and I am being supportive of what you need, but what I need is you to be strong while you go through this. I need you to support me sometimes. I need to be the person that's needy sometimes. I need you to be able to get your shit together, decide what you want to do, embrace that, be empowered by that, be confident in that, and in return, give me the support I need for supporting you. You need to say that no matter what it ends up being. But anyway, yeah, you guys, that was my MF and advice. That was like mad fucking interesting. I don't have a rant today. I don't have a rant. And my video is pretty much done. My show is pretty much over. But I wanted to share something with you guys that I have started the process of writing a book. It's kind of like a fiction sci-fi book. I don't want to talk about it yet because I don't want to jinx it, but I'm in a really good place with it and figuring it out and starting to actually write it. And if you're into sci-fi, if you like, shit about witches, like if you was a Charm fan, that type of shit, I feel like you really like what I'm writing. And what I'm starting to work on. And I would just hope that everybody will give me their support because I love you guys and I enjoy certain things, and I would want to give that to the people who enjoy shit like I do. I love mysteries and thrillers and magic and shit like that. I was always into stuff like that even as a kid, and as an adult, finding the space to begin to write something like that. You know, I'm even doing research and reading books and everything, and like fully trying to commit to the process of writing this book. And I am so excited about it, and I really want to thank the creator from Rebel for telling me that I needed to write, because if she wouldn't have told me that, I don't think I would have really listened. Even though I've always written poetry and tried to figure out a way that eventually I knew I was gonna write my life story, because so much has happened to me. As much as I feel like my life is boring over the years, a lot of things have happened, and I guess the boring part came after so much shit, you know. So it's like I'm glad to be bored for a little while after so much happened in my life. But this is a really cool experience for me. Yeah, you guys, sorry, my actual camera ran out of space, so I had to come to my phone just to say I hope I can get you guys support when I finally do finish my book. I'm very excited. Appreciate y'all, love y'all. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for another episode of the Bondy Blue Show. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace out.